Welcome to the Business Spotlight Podcast. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm your host for today's episode. And today on the show, I have Tony Broomes, co-founder and CEO of Hola Bili, as my guest. We're going to be learning about his business, his journey to business ownership, best practices, and challenges that he's faced to give you that inside look to what it's like to build and operate a business. Welcome, Tony. So great to meet you. Thanks for being on the show.
Well, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. So I think we'll have a lot of fun.
Yes, it's going to be a great episode. I'm very excited. Before we dive into all things business, though, I want to share a bit about you. So take us back as far as you'd like and share a bit about yourself.
So yeah, my name's Tony Broomes. I was born originally in Brooklyn, New York. Came to Texas. uh, Yeah, probably. Yeah, actually, no, I came to Texas in my high school years. Uh, yeah, so it was journeyed around doing a lot of different things. College in Florida and Michigan State, and then kind of grew up in Chicago after that. But when I say grew up, I mean like grown as a person, and came back to Texas, raised a family. And so, yeah, that's kind of who I am, how I came to be. Um, Business kind of came a little bit different, came a little bit after. Always had ideas, obviously. Who doesn't? But as you're going along your process, you're figuring out what it is you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and how you're going to gaining the skills to do it. And that's where my process was. I, learned computer science and did a lot of programming, did a lot of business analysts stuff. So, and now I'm here.
Well, that's great. It sounds like you've been around up into the
Mhm.
kind of the Midwest and back to the South. That's really cool. I've had the same kind of journey actually.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, back and forth between Texas and the Dakotas. So I
Yeah,
get it.
yes. Like the
Oh,
Midwest hits a little different. That weather.
totally.
Hmm.
Totally. It takes a lot of adjusting. So, well, I'm excited to chat with you today. So, thanks for sharing a bit about your backstory. Now, uh, how did you get into business ownership? Like, what's the story there?
Yeah, okay. So it's kind of funny just because, like I said, my process going into how I became a business owner is a lot of going around doing different things, right? So I started doing programming. Like I said, I did some business analyst work, and I also did some work, databases and backend things and graph databases and a lot of different backend and front end things. Then I got dipped my toe into the startup life. Right. So I was a lead backend engineer for a startup here in Austin called Musix. And then I hopped over to another, wasn't a startup, but it was a startup like. So it was incubator within um Booz Allen. And so along the line, I started to learn a little bit more about business and started to learn about the business side of things, not just necessarily. I'm an inventor at heart. I like to build things, I like to make things. But that's not necessarily just what a business is, right? You can have the thing, but there's also the time building out the infrastructure. There's the time marketing it. There's the time meeting the people. There's time, there's a lot of different things that go around it. So I learned that I really wanted to do that part of it. I wanted to not just make something, I wanted to also, make it be something that's useful, one, for people, not just me, and make life easier. And
Mhm.
that's where the whole concept of Hola Billy came from. It was, you know, me and, co-founder, we were talking one day, and it was really revolving around, oh, there's no real easy way for people to, especially when you're starting out, to send out somebody to get money or get it back outside of something like a Venmo or things like that. But there's no real process around it. So it became okay, there's a better way because I want something for me, and I know there are a lot of other people that do want that same thing. but it's hard starting out. Like you when you're starting out, you have no idea, like a lot of times. And I wanted to make that transition easier for people starting out.
Oh, nice. Okay. So I love this. So now you mentioned a co-founder. So
Yeah.
tell me about your co-founder and kind of like what are the different elements that you bring and that your co-founder brings?
Yeah, yeah. So so my co-founder, her name was Sarah Capron. We actually met at Musics. So we were both working at Musics at the same time. And then we kind of started doing other things. And so one of the things that I bring to the table kind of is, like I say, I've always been like a back-end engineer, inventor type person. Um, and she's much more, I'd say, like she's more in touch, in tune with, you know, I won't say with the people, but it's she's definitely has a knack for getting out there, talking to people, getting an ideas of where and what's going on, and so we kind of like do that balance thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do some of this back end work. She does some of the outreach. Then I do some of this outreach, and then she does some of the work. So we kind of learn to make a cycle, be a cycle. So we kind of like I do something, she does something, and then kind of we work our way around because when you're starting out in a business, there's so many hats to wear.
Yes.
And there are times where you just need, you need to focus on one thing, and which means if you're focusing on that one thing, that other something else isn't happening. Having a co-founder, in general helps that out.
Definitely. Oh, well, that's really cool. Now, what year did y'all found the company?
The company was founded in originally, because when you talk about founding, like, there's founding the company, and then there's when we started working on the company. Uh, right.
Could be both. Yeah, both.
Yeah.
If the dates are different, yeah, tell me about both.
Yes. So the founding of the company, as far as like doing the paperwork and all that stuff, that was end of 2023.
Okay.
The full blown working on it really started the end of 2024. So beginning of 26, beginning of 25. That's when we like released it to the masses.
Okay. Okay. So tell me more about like, well, first, do you have any other employees besides y'all?
Right now, it's just us. Yeah, we're working. Yeah, so we're working on, getting customers and making sure that the customers that we have are, they enjoy the product before we start doing like super big pushes. So we want to make sure that we have a rock solid product, and that's where we are right now. And we're, working on just making it easy, fun to do those financial parts of the business that most people, including myself, don't enjoy doing.
Yeah. I feel you there. Okay, so now tell me about the like who your ideal client is.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, who does that look like? Like if I were to walk in your doors, how would I know I'd be a good fit for you?
yeah. So that speaks to a lot to where we're going. So the ideal customer is someone that's not just starting out, but they have a lot of different disparate clients that of their own, and they want a real easy way to be able to bill and get paid, right? So something that a lot of things that pop up is, sometimes when you're out in mobile, right? So, for example, one of the guys that we're talking to, he went out and he does sales out on these remote ranches,
Hmm.
and it's sometimes he has a hard time like just unless he's writing a physical paper invoice, which obviously, in this day and age, you can do that, but at the same time, those things get lost, they get wet, things happen.
Hmm.
And so, but he needed a reminder and a way to be able to make that. invoice digitally to be able to send it to his client. Because the thing is, when we're out in these remote branches in Texas, sometimes cell signal is spotty. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
So yes. So those are the type of clients that we really look for. People starting out, people that are maybe say potentially maybe going remote, but people that still need to get paid and do it easily.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, with this, how are you marketing? How are you finding your clients? Has that been hard, easy?
Yes, yes. So the thing is with the marketing part of it, a lot of it right now is face to face. So we talk to people, we go to different trade shows, we go
Mhm.
to different events where there are going to be a lot of people new to business. So they're starting their journey. Um, in addition to just general expos. So it's a lot of, face-to-face work. We do market a little bit as far as social media, but that's not really marketing outside of get people getting to know us. Like,
Mm,
so that they know who I am. They know who I am, know who we are, and know that, we actually have a product out there that could be useful, but also, hey, I'm a person too, right? Because sometimes you see a company and you don't really see the people behind it. I want you to be able to see and understand, hey, I'm a real person. We're
mhm.
just like you. So that's the type of marketing we're doing right now. And I don't really call it marketing. It's just us being out there.
Like brand awareness kind of.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, how has that been for like in terms of like workload, especially,
Mhm.
you're doing the one-on-ones, handshakes, like how has that been amongst all the other hats you're wearing as a business owner?
Yeah. Oh no, it can obviously get stressful just because since you're wearing so many hats, you know,
Mhm.
and building things, putting in new features. Um, the balance comes from a structure.
Mhm.
So essentially what I try to do is I try to balance it by, I have a week of feature work. And even within that week of feature work, I try to at least have one day where it's like, okay, what events are going on where I go to meet people.
Mhm.
And some weeks it works, some weeks it doesn't, but the structure is there because I know it becomes harder to get out if you get caught into a cycle of doing just coding.
Mhm.
Like I say I've been coding for, like I said, I have a history of being a more coding, inventing. So that's where the comfort level sometimes is. So sometimes I forget that I need to go out and do this thing. So that's where the structure helps me. And I thought,
Yeah, definitely. And so looking at you talked about balance, you talked about structure. Where in your company do you feel like that is the hardest to find? What aspect? Or if there's multiple, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So one of the hardest parts is the family aspect of it. When you
Mhm.
have when I have two kids, wife, and a dog. I don't know if you hear him. I'm not sure what he sees right here right now, but he's barking like crazy. But hopefully that's not getting picked up. But you know, there's a lot of late nights and a lot of long days.
Mhm.
And I'm trying not to miss too much of, their events. Though my son, he does sports a lot. My daughter does too. She does gymnastics. So, so, you know, there's been quite a few, events where sometimes I can make it, sometimes I can't.
Mhm.
Usually the ones I can't are usually out of town. Um,
Yeah.
so, but I try to make sure I make it to at least one or two events.
Hmm.
But keeping that balance, because when it's just a two-person team, it's hard to do all the things and still still balance that family life, dinners and just talks and times where you're able to go through and enjoy each other's time. So yeah, so it's this the schedule helps with that too.
Yeah, and how has that been going, like say in the last 6 months of your company as you're kind of ramping up?
Hmm. So in the yeah, so in the past 6 months, um, it's been it's been fine as far as you know, for 6 months puts us in what, July, August time frame. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just on so a lot of that is like a ramp up for the kids, that's them ramping up for school, right?
Mhm.
And for my wife, it's she has her own job that she has to take care of and do the things. So she's doing her work while I'm doing this building up the company, and she's been heavily supportive of me in doing this. Because it's it's hard to do. It would be hard to do these things without some sort of support mechanism in place, a support
Yeah.
structure, without people that believe in you and people that, like, help push you forward, sometimes even give you some good ideas. And, she's done all of that. So, yeah, it's been helpful.
That's good. That's like at least, when you have that teammate kind of like both on your
Mhm.
business side, you have your co-founder, and then you also have like your on the
Yes.
personal side, you have your
Mhm.
teammate. So,
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
so what would you say looking ahead at
Mhm.
the next, like say 3 to 5 years, where do you want the company to go?
Okay, 2 to 5 year. Okay, so I'll give you a 3 year and probably in a 5 year because I
Yeah.
have concepts around both. Um, so the 3 year, I definitely see ourselves as uh, essentially kind of like the go-to business, business to business. Uh, I want to say more than invoicing because we do invoicing and estimates right now, and payment requests and payment tracking. So all of that, but the go-to for Austin and Texas, essentially, right? And we can start thinking nationally at that point as well.
Hmm.
But I definitely want to focus on where I live. I mean, focus on this community, because the whole thing is for me has always been about the community aspect of things. And we have a lot of people here, and a lot of ideas and a lot of growth that can occur. I, I just did a quick thing that's to last week where I found out there are 833 new businesses just in the 5 counties around Travis.
Mm. Yeah, it's wild
Yeah,
how many
right.
startups.
Yes, just 833 just from that. Just in one week. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, right. So, you know, there's a lot of people that needs this help, that needs support. And I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to help them. I want to be able to make sure that this is not a question that they're going to have, when they're coming up.
Hmm.
How to do that part of their finances is not going to be a question. It's going to be, they can use us and it'll be simple to use because we do things conversationally, right?
Yeah.
Versus, hey, this dry form that people are used to.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And now, how does your business structure work? Is it like, are you taking a fee percentage, or how do you generate revenue?
Yes. Yes. So right now, the way there are two avenues in which we do this. One is a basic flat fee monthly subscription, essentially, right? And what we're doing with that is, if you don't want to do payment tracking, the fee is always flat, right? Now, if you do want to do payment tracking, right now we have to go through another third party, which does charge a fee per transaction.
Hmm.
So what we can do in that case is we can either take cover that fee, but then that fee will be added to your bill, or
Hmm.
you can pass that fee along on your invoice to your customer to cover it.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yes.
you're taking that fee off of the service. It's like a service fee kind of thing.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
We try to make sure that's covered, and it's going to go one way or another. But no, we don't take too much off the top on that at all.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Well, this has been a really great conversation so far. Now I want to take us through our rapid fire question.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
There's four of them and just answer very top of mind.
Okay.
All right. Question number one is, what is the key to success for you?
Key to success. The support, support system. I've had so many long nights and days, and it's it requires so much of my energy and time that
Mm,
having people that believe in me and people that can help me when things might kind of fall off because I'm so focused on one thing or focused on
mhm.
this one thing that that those things don't get lost, right? Lost in the
Yeah,
shuffle. So the key to success is for me support. You know, that's what helps keep me successful.
definitely. Love that. Number two is, what is a piece of advice you have for other business owners?
Okay, so for other business owners, I think it's one of those things that when you're getting started, don't try to do everything. It's
True.
no, it's easy. It's
True.
easy to fall into
Do.
that trap,
Yeah.
and you're realizing that because you will be get overwhelmed very, very quickly. It's
Mm,
fine to do something, and ideally, if you don't have a partner, if it's just you, I get it. But it's okay to, if it's just you, push something off to the side. You just have to figure out how you're going to do that. Like you have to figure out how you're going to compartmentalize the tasks so that you're not forgetting it, but what you're really doing is making sure that that you're able to go and do it in a timely fashion. But there's the things that are higher priority. So prioritization is really the other kind of like the back end piece to that.
definitely. That's a good one too. Number three, this is a fun one.
Mhm.
What is, it could be a book, a podcast, a piece of content, just anything that's resonated with you recently.
Ah, yeah. So things that resonate. I've been following some. Well, I haven't been following. My wife's been following. Let me rephrase that. She'll send me some Instagram business Instagram posts, and that
Mm,
have been really really, I won't say transformative because everybody kind of uses those kind of words, but it's it's hit me in the heart
yeah.
because it's reminding me of yes, I there are things that you do and there are things that you love. And when you kind of merge those two things together, it doesn't feel like work. And because right
Hmm.
now what I do doesn't feel like work. It feels like I'm doing more for like people and I'm doing more for just the community. Like I said, everything rolls back for that to me. So a lot of you'll hear me say that a lot if you just in conversation, but it really resonates. So yeah. Now the only thing is I can't remember the. I'd have to go back and look, and I don't have my phone. My phone's in the room, but I have to go back and look. But at to not channel,
Like an Instagram
yeah,
page
which
or
Instagram page, yeah, which page and posts she's been sending me because it has been from one specific person, and I wish I had to do it off the top of my head, but that's the
is
thing.
it is
I've
it
kind of, huh?
Cody Sanchez? Is it Cody Sanchez? I
I have listened to Cody, but it's not Cody. It's not Cody.
okay.
I have listened to her. Um,
That's fun. Well, I love that. Yeah, inspirational quotes and
Yeah.
nuggets of advice are huge.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say one quote that does always stick with me. Um, and it's a James Baldwin, it's an old James Baldwin quote. The place for me won't exist until I build it.
Truth.
Yes.
Great one, stealing that.
Yep. Mhm. Yep.
Well, we have one more question in our rapid fires now. This one is one to think about. So if I were to give you a magic wand and you could rapidly improve one aspect of your business, what would it be?
Rapidly improve the aspect.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, obviously, as a business, obviously you want more customers, right? That's the obvious thing. But truly, I'd say being able the infrastructure portion of it.
Hmm.
I have been building it, and I'm learning, and I mostly know backend infrastructure pretty well, so that part's not the hard part. I mean, the hard part really is the infrastructure around the things I don't know,
Hmm.
which is like design. So, and having a good iterative process around that. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
so yes, I think that would be probably my biggest uh get get outside of, and I guess also, having a marketing guru would be awesome. Obviously. Right?
Those are good. Thank you for sharing those. Um, Yeah, talking about infrastructure, like since we're on the topic, I know we
Yeah.
got kind of over, but I want to kind of deep dive on that because that is a big pain point for a lot of people. Is like building out something that you're like, it's not a cookie cutter thing. It's like you have to
Yes.
build this thing.
Yes.
So within the infrastructure specifically has been a pain point for you?
Hmm. Okay. So we have time, right? So I can condense
Definitely.
it.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
want to dive in.
Yeah, I can condense it. So, okay. So one of the things, AI is a huge thing right now, obviously, right? And some of the things around AI and how to build something that is using AI without leaking personal information, right? That has been a core to what my business is designed around. Like it's designed around making sure that people can build, but also we're not going to be giving away your information when we do that. So, you know, using AI, to because we're a conversational style of
Uh-huh.
what we do,
Hmm.
it requires us to be able to redact and place hold and do a lot of things that in between the conversation that just doesn't exist. Right? It doesn't exist anywhere because no one's already thought about that. And
Hmm.
out the best that you can do outside of that is if you have your own personal LLM running and everything hits that LLM. That is not a sustainable, well, unless you're Google or something, right? Unless you're, a multi-billion dollar company, it's not sustainable. So, in order to scale out, we have to still be able to protect our information.
Yeah.
Thus the need for us to build out an infrastructure that requires us to redact, place hold, send, and again, another cycle, another infrastructure layer for that. So
Yeah.
that's been tough, but it's been worth it though. It's worth it.
Definitely. Well, thank you for deep diving into that. I just wanted to like learn a little more about what you meant by the infrastructure. And so, uh, yeah, this has been a great conversation before we get to our final question of the day.
Mhm.
Tony, how can people get connected with you and your company online?
Yes, so you can reach us at www.holabili.com. That's HOLABILI.com. You can find out more about our company there. I'm reachable at tony@olabili.com. Keep it simple. That's the one thing I also like to do is keep things simple. So, that's my first name at the company. And yeah, so signing up is also pretty easy from the website. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Now for the final question of the day.
Mhm.
What is most inspiring to you today?
Ah, I get a lot of inspiration from a lot of different things. And today, I think some of my inspiration is really coming from learning about, like I think I mentioned a little bit earlier, that there are 833 new companies coming into fruition as of last week, right? So what
Mm,
that says to me is that there is a real drive in the people in this area just alone to really take control of their lives, right? And that is so inspiring to me, right? Like that's one of those things where it's like, yes, this is what we should be doing, and this is how a community is built and maintained, right? From people just saying, you know what, it's time for me to do this.
mhm,
It's so yeah, so that's been one of the biggest inspirations. And I to this more, especially for today, like because I look through and I'm like, okay, what do we need? What is it that I'm doing, right? And it's like, what am I doing this for? And who am I doing this for? It always comes back to that. It always comes back to that. So that's what keeps inspiring me.
well, thank you for sharing that. That's very inspiring. So, this has been a great conversation. Thank you for your time and for being on the show today.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me. I love this.